Hey guys, Jordan here, and in this video we're going to be talking about high dynamic range, so let's get into it. Alright, so on my channel I talk about real estate photography, so if that's a topic you're interested in, then make sure to subscribe, because I put out pretty much daily videos. Today's question comes from Michael Cook. He says, on a video I made, can you get the flash look without using flash? Michael says Flambian is HDR, just a different method. And you are right. HDR just stands for high dynamic range. And what that means, if you look at any like range, it'll always say like however many stops. And that's basically how much information is your sensor capturing or your photo in like the range. So like, for example, in the highlights and the shadows, how much information, is it capturing, right? A lot of cameras will say, oh, they get 12 stops of dynamic range or 14 stops of dynamic range. So that just tells you the spectrum of how much information your camera is capturing. But yes, Flambian is high dynamic range. We just say HDR is just the shooting method that we're talking about of just ambient, no lighting. We're just shooting HDR, just ambient. That's typically what we were referring to when we talk about HDR for real estate photography. And then the Flambian is essentially the same thing as HDR, but you're adding light, and it's a little bit more of a manual process where you're getting an ambient, a flash, and an exposure for the window, which is pretty much the same thing you're doing with HDR, just kind of an HDR merge with the ambient shots. But the Flambian method is more of a manual blend, right? You take your ambient. Anyways, I've put out several videos on how to edit Flambian and HDR. But yeah, just wanted to, for those that we hear HDR, but yes, Michael's right. Flambian is a form of HDR or high dynamic range shooting, because your photography that you're delivering is high dynamic range or high spectrum, right? So on a regular photo you might have a blown out window, and there might not be any details in the shadows, and that would be one image. That would be low dynamic range. So high dynamic range, anyways, we mostly talk about the shooting methods, but that's essentially what it is. So anyways, if you got value out of this video, hit the like button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.